Thinking of visiting Universal Studios Japan? Let me give you a tour of the park and give you some hints and tips to help you enjoy your day to the fullest. Coming out of Universal Studios Station, you are welcomed by a row of shops collectively known as Universal Walk. Worth having a browse here if you have time afterwards, as certainly on the way there you'll be rushing to get into the park. Here is the entrance to Universal Studios Japan, commonly referred to as USJ. We arrived shortly after the park opened, so there wasn't the huge queues as others have shown in their videos. The only short queue was this quick security check. Walking along this main street and past a large souvenir store, you reach the US side of the park, Hollywood, New York and San Francisco. This definitely used to be my favourite area of the park when they still had the Terminator and Back to the Future rides. It's definitely less crowded nowadays, but there's still some interesting things to do here, such as the Hollywood Dream roller coaster, the Detective Conan 4D show, which is housed in the same building where Terminator used to be. Our popular ride here was Jaws. But as you can see, there's pretty long queues. The popular Demon Slayer ride is also here, but I'm really gutted as I didn't have time to try this one. Although I did get a Demon Slayer t-shirt and towel as a souvenir after I got soaked by the No Limits parade. Moving on to what USJ calls Minion Park, this was a big hit with the kids, and there's various photo opportunities with the Minions. The rides were all kid friendly, and we were fortunate that we didn't need to queue for the Minion Mayhem as we got the fast track pass. This was a fun ride, and I'm sure was housed in the same building where Back to the Future was, as the way that the car rose up was so reminiscent of the DeLorean. The kids thoroughly enjoyed it. This is called Freeze Ray Sliders, which has one of the shortest queues in the park. And this is the Minion shop for all your despicable items. Taking you to one of the two areas in the park which you can only enter with a timed entry. The Wizarding World of Harry Potter, and the other one is obviously Nintendo World. I'll talk more about timed entry and express passes towards the end of the video. This area is busy but didn't feel claustrophobic, and they've done a good job with recreating the architecture from the books. There's a couple of rides in here. This one is Flight of the Hippogriff, which to me seemed like a fairly standard roller coaster, and because of the long queues I decided not to go on this one. Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, which is an indoor VR roller coaster which undoubtedly has one of the longest queues, but was definitely worth trying. We found the height restrictions a little annoying as my son was slightly too short for some of the rides. However, USJ has this quirky child switch scheme where if you go on a ride where a child is too short, the other parent can stay with the child in a room while the other parent rides, and then you can swap over afterwards without having to queue again. It doesn't sound like much, but it's extremely handy and time saving. And there's a shop for those of you wanting to get your own wand and Harry Potter memorabilia. One thing we thoroughly enjoyed in the baking heat was the butterbeer. There's two versions. The normal drink is a caramel flavoured soft drink, and the ice version is like a caramel slushy. Very refreshing. This next area is called Universal Wonderland. It's got characters from Snoopy, Sesame Street and Hello Kitty. There's various outdoor rides. An indoor area, and is perfect for keeping the little terrors happy. The last area is the one that most people are excited about and was the main reason we made the trip to Japan and Osaka for, Super Nintendo World. Our timed entry was at 7:20 p.m, so you can see it's getting dark. However, the main bonus of this was that the lights made the park look quite stunning. Although the heavy rain at the time put a dampener on the mood, but true Nintendo fans will not be disappointed with Mario characters popping up around every corner and Nintendo sound effects playing every few moments. It makes you feel like you've been shrunk and thrown into a Super Mario level. There's 2 rides here. We ran out of time, so couldn't try Yoshi's Adventure, which takes you on a tour of the park, but here is some footage we borrowed from Theme Park Wizard. The second ride, which is a must try, is Mario Kart Koopa's Challenge. This is an indoor ride where you wear a headset and have an augmented reality experience. Of course, there's a lot to keep you occupied, from character meet and greet and scenery from the games. There's 2 main activities here: collect coins, more coins, and yet more coins. And also collect 3 keys so you can do the boss battle with Bowser Jr. But to enable you to collect coins and keys, you need to buy a separate wristband. The wristband keeps a tally of the total coins and progress of keys collected. There's various mini games you can play to win keys, and you only need 3. And if you succeed, this is the mini game with Bowser Jr. We ran out of time in the park, so couldn't do the final boss battle, so here is a little footage from someone who did. Of course, there is plenty of opportunities for you to park with your yen. Both the souvenir popcorn holders were popular, but undoubtedly the flashing star was definitely the fan favourite. There was a lot of interesting items in the store, but we just got some magnets and a big shopper bag as our suitcases were getting a bit full. Throughout the park, there's various attractions to keep you entertained, from the popular parade to song and dance performances. There's various themed restaurants throughout the park, which, considering the way the food looks, I think the prices were quite reasonable. This is a Nintendo themed cafe where the main attraction is the Mario and Luigi whipped cream pancakes. This tastes as good as it looks, and the customer service here was cute and attentive. Although we are big One Piece fans and visited the One Piece themed restaurant, we actually decided to have lunch at the Minion restaurant. We found the service very fluid and efficient. The adult meals were okay. The burger was cute, but the kids' meal actually looked more appetizing. And here is where they made the burger buns. And this is the Snoopy themed restaurant. As we have shown, there are specific character dedicated shops, but the main one near the entrance has a good selection as well. So what's the best way to buy tickets? So buying the entry ticket from the official USJ website is $8,600, so £45.26. Whereas buying it on Klook, which is the most popular Asia booking and review website, similar to TripAdvisor, was only $44.85, so not much of a difference. But the main reasons to buy from Klook though is the site is easier to navigate, especially if you're going to buy the express pass, and also with Klook you can accumulate points to get discounts on further purchases. Use our link to receive £4 off your first purchase on Klook. Now a big decision you need to make is whether to stump up for an express pass. They certainly aren't cheap, but will make a big difference on how many rides you can fit in during the day. The Express Pass 7 lets you fast track 7 of the popular rides. The one we got, Fun Variety, for August cost us 22,546 yen, around £118. We chose the Fun Variety as it allowed us to get fast track for the more kiddie orientated rides. Considering the average wait time for the popular rides was around 90 minutes, there is only so much you can fit in without forking out for the express pass. A compromise you can consider if you have extra time is to get a 2-day pass, which will work out cheaper than getting the express pass, as the express pass price is on top of the standard park entry. That way you can probably still go on most of the rides. Our main reason for getting the express pass was for the timed entry into Nintendo World. You can get in without the pass, but what you will need to do is download the USJ app and constantly check in throughout the day to see if there are any standby timed entry slots available. We did this throughout the day, but the timed entry got more and more ridiculous throughout the day. It started for 7:30, and as the day progressed it crept up to 8 PM and then even 9 PM when the park closes at 10. If you decide to buy the express pass, make sure you book as early as you can, as even for the price we paid, the earliest time we could choose for Nintendo World was 7:20 PM. Closing thoughts on the park? Donkey Kong Country was supposed to open in spring 2024, and we were a bit gutted that it hadn't opened when we went. So if you're planning to go to USJ, I would wait until that opens, as that part of the park would be amazing. Also, although there is timed entry to reduce overcapacity in Super Nintendo World, I found it too crowded in there. So once Donkey Kong opens, hopefully that should help spread out the crowds. USJ is a great theme park, and the tech and experience is head and shoulders above any theme park we have in the UK, but with the retirement of the old US style rides such as Backdraft and Terminator, I just feel there's a bit of a void in the US part of the park. If you're going by yourself or even as a couple, you can consider the single riders queue. For rides where there is an odd number of people boarding, e.g. 1 or 3, they will let people from the single riders queue join. Fair enough, you'll be sitting next to a stranger, but the queues are almost always shorter than the main queue. In general, the English speaking ability of the staff is good, friendly and helpful throughout the park, with English signage explaining about the rides. However, I can't say that about the staff in Nintendo World. The rules for the games were not explained by any signage, and the staff could not communicate the rules effectively in English. I feel that unless you buy at least one power-up band, and for groups more than one, you don't get to experience Nintendo World to the fullest, which is a major letdown. It feels like USJ is trying to get people to buy as much of the power bands as possible to maximise profit. Although Nintendo World appears to be aimed at young kids, I found a lot of the minigames unsuitable for younger children. As you can see, my son of 7 was standing there thumping the clock like mad. Another negative of the minigames are that they are definitely not aimed at single players, and with some of the games requiring 3 or more players to pass the level. Seats. They definitely need more seats in the park, especially in the ride queuing areas, as the wait times are around 90 minutes each. All in all, I would say if you're considering USJ, I would definitely say go for it. You will really enjoy it, but just make sure you plan well ahead to make sure you get on all your favourite rides. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for our forthcoming guides on Osaka and Seoul.